Tommy Tuberville is not the only idiot who is pushing this. Here's Matt Walsh. Like, they're really going back to the well on this. Yeah. I keep hearing how we're past the climate denialism. We're now on to like, well, it's not man-made, or there's nothing we can do about it.
Yeah, it's too late to do anything about it.
Yeah.
Oops.
What happened to that TV? I can't see that one. All right, we'll just put it up here, and I'll take a look at it from there.
Keeping temperature records, and not even just since when they started keeping historical records of anything. They're saying it's the hottest in 125,000 years. Well before the dawn of human civilization, that's how far back they're going. And this is pretty simple. Your BS detector needs to be calibrated well enough to at least pick up on this kind of BS. You don't even need a BS detector. Okay, this is a dump truck load of BS pulling up right to your front door. And I mean, you can sniff it out without much trouble. You don't even need to open the door to sniff it. The idea that anybody actually knows the precise global temperatures from 125,000 years ago is laughably ridiculous. Okay, I don't care. You could take any scientist with all the qualifications in the world. I don't care how long their resume is, how many papers they've written, how many schools, how many degrees they have and PhD. When they start saying that, you laugh in their face. You laugh in their face. You say, you moron. That's ridiculous. You're just an idiot, is all you are. Because it's completely insane. Nobody has any freaking idea what the temperature was tens of thousands of years before the pyramids were built, much less when the pyramids were being built. Nobody knows. Nobody. How could they? There wasn't anyone around to keep track. Like, who are we going to ask? Now, do you know where they get these figures from? Because without fail, as I'm saying this right now, I'm going to get a bunch of smarmy comments. You don't know anything. Read a book sometime. You don't know anything about it. They can figure. They know this for sure. It's like, and these people saying this, they don't know how. They don't know how. If you ask them, you go to the comments right now and you see all the smarmy comments and you ask any of them, oh yeah, how do they know? How do they know? Tell me how they know what the temperature was on like May 15th in the year 10,041 BC. How do they know that? Well, they just do. It's science, because of science. And science is a magical crystal ball that tells them.
It is science. Now, scientists cannot tell you what the temperature was on a certain day. What they can tell you is what the climate was up to 100-some-odd-thousand years ago by studying things like ice and the elements that exist within ice. And
it's looking at things.
Pop this up.
This video, yeah.
Yeah. You can look at ice that has been frozen for an extended period of time, and it gives you you can measure the elements of different gases that exist in the ice, and I guess isotopes. I mean, all the science stuff.
And you check it against
sediment,
the record that we do have against recorded time, and then you can extrapolate based on how the record from recorded time measures with the one from, say, ice from tens of thousands of years ago, and make inferences.
Now, compare these scientific processes. Is this video? Can you play this? All right, let's do that. Play this so that we can educate. This, and incidentally, I gotta say, this is really impressive because 15 or 20 years ago, when I started this is the exact same thing they were saying. This is the 100% exact same thing they were saying. The scientists cannot tell these things. It doesn't exist. They do it by carbon dating, they would sometimes say, and that's not reliable. And there's no way to know. And it was also one of the arguments they made about intelligent design, which was like the creationism was being debunked at that point. So they were coming in with intelligent design. Scientists can't tell how old the planet is. Nobody was around. There was nobody writing about it at that time. This is what they say. And the fact that he has to go back to this stuff at this point, leads me to believe that like his numbers have been cratering, no pun intended, because of the trans stuff. Yes, but play that clip. Where is this from?
This is from the National Science Foundation.
Oh, the National Science Foundation. Okay, go ahead.
The goal of the project, to collect and study perfectly preserved records of the distant past.
The unique things about polar glaciers is each year that it snows there, the snow never melts. So you get 1 year of snow on top of the next year of snow. It compresses, so everything that fell out of the atmosphere, dust, salt from the ocean, volcanic ash, is preserved in that ice core.
This particular ice sheet is more than 70,000 years old.
Oh, sure.
The team drilled down more than 2 miles into it to retrieve these cores,
you don't know
which were
what
then
you're
flown to
talking
the U.S. and stored in a giant 40 below zero freezer here at the Ice Core Lab.
Oh, really?
Inside this freezer contains more than 10 miles of ice cores collected from around.
Pause it.
Quickler says the ice.
How do you know it's 10 miles? Do you have a ruler? Have you ever seen a 10-mile long ruler? I don't think so. When someone tells you something's 10 miles long, you laugh in their face because they don't have a 10-mile ruler. Go ahead.
Ice core's layers are like tree rings, each layer representing a year of weather and snow.
We can tell what the temperatures were. We can tell how rough the oceans were around Antarctica.
On
we can
Tuesday?
tell how dusty Australia was.
Scientists are keen to study the bubbles trapped in the cores, each a tiny pocket of air frozen in time.
Oh, pause
We can
it,
measure-
pause it. Okay, so bubbles tell you what the temperature was on a Tuesday 120,000 years ago. I don't think so. What a con.
It's like the Bud Light bubbles telling you you're a different gender.
Yeah, exactly. Keep playing it just a little bit more.
Variety of gases that were in the atmosphere at the time the bubbles were formed.
Other scientists want to know how ice sheets melt over time.
Oh, I know.
Necessarily have a really good handle on how the ice sheet as a whole will respond in a case of changing climate.
Quickler says this icy blast from the past is helping researchers better understand the mechanics of climate change, and that in turn will help them make...
You know what's so hilarious about that? Here they are trying to tell us it's global warming, but they're all wearing hats and gloves. There, it's clearly looks like it's not too sunny up there. It's just
That cash grab.
just like an adult. And let's be clear with Matt Walsh here. Not only does he discount the science that was just laid out there, it was all being hocus pocus. This is a guy who believes that society should be ordered around the presence of a guy up in the sky who is in charge of what definitions men need to follow and women need to follow and roles that they have and what our jobs should be on the planet and how we should live in such a particular way by this God. Because Walsh is so scientific. The idea that we could tell what the climate was, what the temperatures were in a certain period of time, in a certain era. Science can't do that. There's nobody there to write it down. But yet, because someone wrote down, there's a God, he's convinced that there's some dude up there with a beard basically determining that there should be no gender fluidity or what the bathroom policy should be in a public space in North Carolina.
Yeah. This guy that uses cameras that use capacitors and stuff like that.
What? That's
does
not
that
magic.
work?
God does that. Unbelievable.
Also, if you go all the way down to one of the poles to collect ice things, that's it. You deserve a little bit of cash. I don't think these guys are probably driving Maseratis. I think they're probably paid like civil servants or whatever. But they're putting in some work.
Well,
more work than Matt Walsh.
They
is doing.
get paid a salary for that, and then they get paid a big chunk of money to pretend like the world is round, and that they're not going to fall off if they go too far down there. These guys are probably somewhere like in Bakersfield, California, in a big studio, just pretending the whole thing so that Al Gore can be rich.
Laughing at us, yeah, so Al Gore can make his light bulb money.
Hogtown frown. My undergraduate degree is in geology, and we can pinpoint from sedimentary record when oxygen entered the atmosphere. You can see where the iron starts to oxidize 400,000 years ago. Ontario was a warm tropical sea. Temperature over the relative blink of an eye, that is, human existence, is pretty trivial.
You sound kind of woke.